Hi, I'm Joel Teague, and I'm here with Dr. Farber, and she's a kinesiology professor here at Liberty University, and this is for our Health 330 nutrition class. So Dr. Farber, can you tell me about your eating patterns, maybe walk us through a day in your life and explain some of the things you find yourself eating the most?
Yes. I have maintained nearly the same weight, except for one period of time in my life, in that I currently weigh nearly the same amount as I weighed when I graduated from college back in 1970. At that time I weighed 156, and I'm between 156 and 160 right now. There was a time, and this is just personal, but when I was working on my dissertation, I didn't do a lot of exercising, and I gained an excessive amount of weight, but within a year following that, I lost that weight and came back down to a reasonable weight for my height along the way. So, about my eating patterns, that means you got to eat to maintain the same amount of weight and stay in the same clothes and not be buying larger sizes. I try to eat some protein in the morning, only because I teach early morning classes and I need enough energy to get me through those classes without having the stomach growl while I'm lecturing. You know, that may vary with turkey bacon, turkey sausage. I do have heart disease, I have high blood pressure, I'm on medication, I have a stent in my LAD of my heart. That was implanted several years ago. And so I've got to watch, you know, what I eat in terms of my medical situations. But I try to go with alternatives to the high-fat items, so I might have a bagel or English muffin or something else in the morning. Sometimes I eat yogurt, sometimes I don't. Sometimes my yogurt is my mid-morning snack because I'm hungry when I get out of 311 in the morning and come back to the office. For lunch it varies, and I may splurge on some French fries, but I'll have a low-fat item with that, even if I'm eating, you know, French fries for lunch. I always eat vegetables, I always eat fruit every day. Like I said, try to consume a yogurt every day. You know, I've got to minimize my calories because I need to, number one, take care of the health issues, number two, maintain a decent weight, okay? And I maintain the weight because I have 2 total knee replacements, and 6 months ago I had back surgery. Therefore, I can't be toting around a lot of extra tonnage, as I call it. You know, I'm single, but I cook vegetables. I try and eat a salad every day. But, hey, if there's some place to go for dinner, I'm going to splurge and enjoy the meal. I don't restrict my sugar, but I limit my desserts every day. But I don't deny myself the cookies and ice cream that I like to eat, okay, and candy along the way. So, you know, you just, you know, after a while you figure out, okay, how much can you handle and how much you can't.
That's great. I'm going to skip question 2 because I think you just answered that.
All right.
Do you think your eating habits have been influenced by past experiences or people that you've met in the past?
Yes, and I will say this. I grew up on a farm, and I ate bacon and sausage and the high-fat items. We had our own milk. We made our own ice cream. Ate lots of butter, and I ate, you know, gravy. So I grew up on a high-fat diet as a child, okay? But being educated as a health and physical educator, I certainly learned along the way that one can't maintain this type of diet and survive for very long. And with heart disease being in my family, it's a good thing that I didn't continue that type of diet, or I would have died a long time ago because the arteries would have been clogged up and I'd have been a goner. So, you know, it's through education and being a health and physical educator, plus I felt like I needed to maintain my weight and my level of physical activity in order to be a good role model for my students. You know, you got to practice what you preach.
Okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate your knowledge of nutrition? 1 being low, 10 being high.
I'd put myself up at an 8 or a 9. I won't say that I'm a total expert at a 10, but I'm pretty high on the scale, and I keep up with things and changes that are being made, and you know, I watch the news all the time. I read the newspaper. I read professional journals. So I stay informed about the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of nutrition, what's new on the scene, what's not. I also have learned that those fad diets don't mean anything. It's a matter of altering your eating habits and your exercise habits that really counts in terms of maintaining a reasonable body weight throughout your lifetime.
Okay. Let's see, based on your eating habits and your knowledge of nutrition, how much does the proper nutrition impact your daily life?
It's very high. And again, it's been high for a number of years, and since the stent was implanted in 2006, it's been even higher on the list. But I do tend to nibble, so the next few days while I'm grading papers and then grading exams, I'll tend to eat a little bit more. But I'll try and eat, good snacks, like popcorn and pretzels, rather than, the high-fat snacks. And try to consume more fruit and even dried fruit and nuts. We tend to shy away from nuts because they contain fat, but they contain good fat. So, we shouldn't stay away from nuts. In fact, they tell you eat a handful of walnuts every day. And other nuts are very good for you. So, I just try to be more cognizant, and because I'm more educated about what's good and what's bad, it has a significant influence upon what I eat. But I enjoy myself along the way as well.
Mm-hmm. And last question, does God play any role in your health or your eating habits?
Oh, definitely. God designed our bodies. I'm a full believer in creation, and I think He designed our entire being that we maintain a balance, body, mind, and spirit. And therefore, we've got to pay close attention not only to what we put in our minds in terms of feeding it with His Word and staying away from the junk of the world that's out there. We've also got to make sure that we feed our bodies with what is good and not what is junk, because He teaches in His Word. I mean, Paul writes about it in Corinthians, and he writes about it in Romans, that our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and therefore we need to keep our temples in good condition. And that's a theme that we have maintained within our department for decades, ever since the Department of Health Sciences, and even back in the days when it was called Health and Physical Education, we've maintained. And then our spirit, we've got to feed our spirit, and that means fellowship with God. So yes, they're all intertwined, they're all important, and maintaining a balance is the key, okay? And being cognizant of the fact that you can go ahead and eat, as Dr. Horton promotes, you can eat all you want as long as you exercise sufficient amounts, and that's important as well to maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
Well, that concludes our interview. Thank you, Dr. Farber, so much. And,
You're welcome.
We learned a great